What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing all right out there. New viewers, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It always helps out a great deal. Appreciate you. Everybody else, welcome back. Welcome back. Little video on the conjugal visits inside of the prison system. A lot of people have questions about the conjugal visits in New York. It's known as FRP, which is the Family Reunion Program. A conjugal visit is where you get to spend time with your loved one. It doesn't have to be, first, there's only conjugal visits in 4 states in the United States of America: New York, California, Washington, and Connecticut. Out of all the states in the country, those are the 4 states with conjugal visits: New York, California, Washington, and Connecticut. Thankfully, when I was locked up, I was locked up in New York. The federal system does not have conjugal visits. They don't have any at all. When it comes to, I'm just going to refer to them as trailer visits because that's what we call them. It's known as the FRP, the Family Reunion Program, as conjugal visits, or as trailer visits. And when we're in prison, we usually just refer to them as a trailer. We're going on a trailer visit. And as I said, it's not in the federal system at all. In order to participate in the trailer program, in the FRP program, you have to go through a pretty extensive amount. They don't just allow them, they don't allow anyone in there. So let me tell you some things that will disqualify you from the conjugal visits. If you have a kidnapping charge, you are not allowed inside ever to participate in conjugal visits. If you have any type of sex charge, rape, sexual assault, child molestation, sleeping with a minor, any type of charge of sexual orientation bars you from participating in the program. Any type of arson charge stops you from participating in the program. Any type of escape charge stops you from participating in the program, right? So they're not just going to allow anybody out there at all. If you're involved with the mental health department, they will have to make a decision on whether you are stable enough as well to participate in the program. So, I mean, those are some common sense things right there. Not to allow a kidnapper out there because they don't want anybody being taken hostage. Not to allow an arsonist out there because they don't want anyone setting anything on fire. Not to allow anyone with a sex charge out there because they don't want any visitor being sexually abused. And not to allow anyone with an escape charge because they don't want anybody escaping. There may also be a few other charges that are not accepted inside of the program, but those are the main ones. In order to participate in the program, you have to have 2 years without a disciplinary ticket in the prison system. That's 2 years without a ticket that resulted in keep lock time. I believe it was more than 15 days of keep lock time. So if you received a real minor ticket where you didn't receive more than 15 days keep lock time, you could still participate. But anything more than that, you would have to argue that issue because it could suspend you out of the program. So it was 2 years without any major disciplinary. So let's say you meet all the qualifications, right? You don't have any of those charges that can bar you from the program. You haven't received a misbehavior report of any significance within 2 years, right? Then you apply to be part of the program, to participate in the program. And when you apply to participate, it takes a long time for the approval to come back. I'm speaking about 1 year, right? Because that approval, in order to get that approval, the first thing that the facility does to the paperwork is you would write your counselor, you would ask for an FRP application, right? You would fill out the FRP application and it would go back to your counselor. Your counselor will then submit it to the FRP coordinator inside of the facility. Once the coordinator goes over it inside of the facility, then gets sent to Albany, New York. Albany, New York is who monitors the prison system inside of New York. Then it sits up in Albany for a long time. There's the commissioner, there's the coordinator up in Albany. It sits up there for a long time while they go over everything. And then once they give you your approval, if you get a disapproval, it gets kicked back down that you weren't approved, and you have to then go through the whole process again, find out why you weren't approved, and so be it. But if it is approved, it comes back down to your counselor, and then eventually you will get your first date to participate in the program. The people you're allowed to go on a conjugal visit with. If you are legally married, you can go with your wife. Of course, they're going to check the paperwork of your spouse. They're going to look for birth certificates. They're going to check social security card. They're going to check marriage certificate. They're going to make sure that your marriage is legitimate. You know, they're not just going to just look at the piece of paper either. They're going to go to the state marriage records. They're going to look at the birth certificate. They're going to go to birth certificate records. They're going to make sure all the paperwork is legit before they just let this person come into prison with you. Okay? And you're allowed to go with your children as well. If you have a wife and you have children, and the children can go as well, and they will go through the same scrutiny. If you're not married and you want to participate with your family, you're allowed to go with your mother or your father together. You can go with your brothers and sisters. And I believe you can go with your grandparents. And I believe you can go with an aunt or an uncle. You're not allowed to go with any cousins. They don't allow any cousins. So I believe that's the extent of the family members that you're allowed to participate with. And each person will get run through the system completely to make sure that they're legitimate, to make sure that they are who they say they are, to make sure you guys are related, to make sure they have no warrants for their arrest, the whole 9 yards. Once everything is approved and you get your date, you get to spend about 2.5 days out there in the facility. So, in other words, let's say you went out on a Monday morning at 9 o'clock, right? I'll tell you exactly how the process would go. Let's say I'm going out on a Monday morning, right? So they would come 2 days before the trailer visit. They're going to take a urine test from me, the prisoner, right? 2 days prior to the trailer. So in this instant, I would get a urine test on Friday because I was going out on Monday. If the urine test comes back clean, then you go out to the trailer. You're good. You go out on Monday morning, and you're usually in the trailer. As you see, there's a picture of it right there, what it looks like. You go out in the trailer on a Monday. You stay out there for the rest of all Monday. Let's say you get out there 9 in the morning. So you're out there all Monday. Then you're out there all Tuesday. And then you would come back Wednesday morning at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Right? So you're really getting about a true 48 hours, maybe a little more than 48 hours out there. You know, your family is the trailer visit, as you see from the picture, is very nice. It's like a modular home. They're kept super clean. They have porters that clean them in between the visits. You have a living room in there. You have a kitchen, a full kitchen with a stove. You have a living room with a couch, a television set. Um, the floors are usually carpeted. You have, as I said, a full fridge. Your family member, your wife or your family brings in bags of groceries. They go shopping at the supermarket and they can bring in all types of food. Of course, it's all searched before it comes in from the prison staff. They tell you what you're allowed and what you're not allowed to have. There's no alcohol allowed, of course. You know, certain foods aren't allowed, but they go food shopping. They bring in all the food. You put the food in the fridge. You know, full bathroom with a shower, bathtub. It's like it's an apartment. You're in an apartment. As far as the contact with the officers, there is no contact with the officers. What they do is they call you on the phone periodically throughout the day. This way you answer the phone and state your name and number. Hi, so-and-so, 96A, da-da-da. And the officer will tell you, please step to the door so I can verify you. and you go to the door and open the door, and the officer in the guard tower has a pair of binoculars, and he makes a visual on you, compares it to the picture that he has up there in the tower. Yes, that's so and so. Okay, thank you very much, and you hang up the phone. And that's how they do the prison count, because you have to be counted along with the prisoners inside of the prison. And so that's how it works. There's a play area in the yard for the children. If you have children that come in, they have, some places have swings and seesaws and, whatever it may be. They have barbecue pits out there. You're also allowed to intermingle with the other families that are also participating in the program, because like when I was in Attica, there was three conjugal visit houses, so three families would go out at a time. You know, I remember they used to cancel the visits when David Chapman, the guy who killed John Lennon, I was in Attica with him, and they wouldn't let anyone else out on the FRP program. He used to go out to the trailer visits, I believe, with his family. And when he went out, no one else was allowed to go out because they wanted to keep him protected. So he had his own time out there. Go figure. But other than that, that's basically the way it worked. And so I would go. Oh, so you would take your urine test, and then 2 days before, and then the urine comes back clean. You go out there and you spend your time out there, and then when the trailer visit is over, you come back into the prison. They take another urine test. When you come back into the prison, search all of your property, and you go back into your cell. And you're allowed to participate. At that time, we were getting them every 45 days. You'd go on a trailer visit, on a conjugal visit, and then when you were done, you'd apply again right away, and then you would go every 45 days. The first one takes about a year to get, as I said, but after that, you can go every 45 days. Sometimes there was a point where guys were going every 30 days once in a while. Sometimes it's every 60 days. It depends how many people are participating in the program. So I would go with my wife. I was married, and my wife would come in there, and we'd spend 3 days in there, together. And of course, it's something to look forward to. You know what I mean? And it keeps the guys in prison that participate. It keeps them living the right way, because they don't want to lose those trailer visits. They don't want to upset their family either. They want it's such a relief to get out there. You think conjugal visits, and everyone thinks about the sex. Conjugal visit, you get to have sex. Of course, that's a big deal. You're getting to be intimate with your wife. You know what I mean? What's better than that? And sometimes we didn't even get to put the groceries away. She walked in the door with the groceries, and the door got shut, and then you can't even wait 10 minutes, and that's what you spend 3 days doing. Having sex, watching TV, cooking, having sex, watching TV, cooking, and so it's a relief. It's also a relief just to get out of the prison and get away from the other prisoners, and you don't have to hear them and listen to them. You don't have to hear the guards. You don't have to hear the gate slamming and the doors slamming. You don't have to lay in bed alone, And so there's many people that are against conjugal visits. There's a Senate bill right now called S2938. That's the bill in prison. S2938. It's a bill inside the Senate right now in the state of New York to end conjugal visits. They want to end conjugal visits. There's many people that don't feel a prisoner should have a right to spend time with his wife, or have a right to spend time with his family, and so they're trying to end those visits. I don't know. I haven't really been following the bill lately, but I know it's in there. There have been just a few incidences where things went wrong out on the trailer visit. In the state of California, a guy recently killed his wife. He strangled his wife. This is just a couple of months ago. A man strangled his wife out there in a place called Mule Creek State Prison in California. And her name was Stephanie Bryson. She was 62 years old, and her husband strangled her out there. I don't know much more about the incident. I know that they just came back. The medical examiner's office came back with the ruling of strangulation. I also know this guy was in prison for killing multiple people, 3-4 people. I don't know their whole history, but that's one incident. You know what I mean? And of course, a lot of people will take that one incident and use it to justify removing the program. There also has been an incident or two in New York. I know one of them was 30 years ago. So but mostly it's always run smooth. It's, I believe, has been a very beneficial thing. The criteria to participate is pretty strict. And I went out there with a few wives. I was married and then ended up getting divorced. And then I remarried a woman that I knew from when I was pre-teenager, from when I was 12, 13 years old. I grew up with this woman, and then I was participating in the program with her. And then, unfortunately, I had lost her to blood cancer at the age of 28 years old. And then I married a third time, you know, and, so I participated in the program with my wives. And it was something that was, I loved it. You know what I mean? Uh, but that is really how the family reunion program works. Like I said, it keeps a lot of guys in prison. It really gives them something to look forward to, and it also builds the family network. You know what I mean? It keeps the family together, especially for these prisoners that are going to be released back into society. It enables them to bond with their children. It enables them to have a relationship with their children. It enables them to maintain the relationship with their wife, which is something that's healthy. And if they're not married, it enables them to spend time with their parents and their grandparents and maintain that bond. You know what I mean? It gives the prisoner something to strive for and to work for. It's something that he's very grateful for. As far as the other side of the story, the flipping it and saying that you don't believe a prisoner should be punished and he shouldn't be able to spend time with his family and it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I guess, I try and look at two sides of every story. I understand people saying that. I can understand that. You know what I mean? But prison is a punishment. You know what I mean? But it's also should be a place where we're trying to rehabilitate. You know what I mean? It should be a place where we're trying to create a better person and make a better person. And if treating them more humanely means allowing them participate in this program and treating them like a human, then we have more of a chance of releasing a human being back out into society instead of someone who's filled with such animosity. So that's the way I look at it. As far as what prisons have it inside of the state of New York, I believe that almost all maximum security prisons have it. Don't quote me on that. There may be one or two that don't have it, but I believe almost all maximum security prisons have it, and only a small handful of medium security prisons have the prison, but a few of them have it as well. And like I said, only 4 states inside of the country. And that's the trailer program in a nutshell. You know what I mean? That's the family reunion program, the conjugal visit program, and the trailer program in a nutshell. So I hope you learned a little something about it, and I answered a few questions. And if you have any other questions, you could ask in the comments, and I will answer every one. You guys take care. Be well.